Ladies and gentlemen, the AOG Podcast with AJ and George.
It's episode 2 of the AOG Podcast. I'm AJ, here with George. Happy Wednesday. How you doing, George?
I can't believe we made it to episode 2. I didn't think we were going to make it here. I thought it would be potentially one and done.
Hey, you never know, right? So we had, last week we were talking Chinese spy balloons. What's going on in the world?
We've had three of them
We've
since.
had three more since? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, are they spy balloons or is it extraterrestrial life?
I don't know. We're gonna talk more about that in a little bit. We also had
or is it Whoopi Goldberg?
Yeah, right. We had an unfortunate shooting in Michigan. The guy would have been convicted. You know that. He was already arrested.
Was he?
He was already arrested. Guess who set him free? Didn't convict him.
Who was it?
The DA.
Ooh.
So that could have been avoided. Yeah, could have been avoided.
Ooh, that was a shame. It happened during a night class, I believe, and I think somebody who was a survivor of Sandy Hook shooting is now a student at Michigan State, and they were there. So that's crazy.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So we had the Super Bowl this weekend.
I was a little disappointed with you, AJ, with the Super Bowl.
What happened?
Well, because I told you we have to do this lousy show for 30 minutes a week. So we need content to talk about. And I told you going into it, make sure you know what your favorite commercial is and your least favorite commercial. I sent you a text during the Super Bowl, I believe in the fourth quarter, and You're like, I stopped watching. When did you? First of all, how could you leave a Super Bowl party? Did you tell whoever's party it was going into it, like, hey, I'm only going to stay for half or 3/4? What did you do?
I pulled an Irish exit. Just kind of left.
You just left?
I just left.
Wow. You would never be invited to any of my parties.
I learned that from you.
A wedding early.
Yeah, I learned this from you.
Yeah, but I only leave when the free food and drink stop. Then
yeah, there you go. So the Super Bowl halftime show, we'll talk about it more in a little bit. I left. What'd you quickly think of that? I mean, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but what'd you think of that halftime show?
Well, I thought it was fascinating. There was a statistic that Rihanna's halftime performance had more viewers than the actual game did by about about 5 million people. Yeah, it had more viewers because people were like, where the heck did Rihanna go? I remember listening to the songs during the halftime show, and I'm like, these are so old. And these used to be on the Mix Online radio that AJ
That's
was
right. Yeah, George and I used to do an online radio station. Probably wasn't legal at the time, but
I think it was a little distracting for people. Weren't you a little distracted trying to decide if she was pregnant or not?
Yeah, and I was a little. I was trying to figure out the whole lip sync thing. I mean, she clearly was lip syncing. She didn't even have the microphone near her, and her voice was. It was crazy.
It sounded just like on the radio, right? As if you're sitting in your car and it's recorded, right? But at the end of the day, she's pregnant, and she was at times. She must have been 100 feet off the ground.
That was pretty crazy, right? She was suspended in the air. I was shocked she wasn't tied down at all, especially being pregnant.
So was I. I was trying to figure it out if she was tethered to the ground.
But she was moving around too much.
Yeah, it was weird too. I mean, how many people did they have in that halftime performance? There must have been about 200 people dressed up in whatever that white was.
Those dances.
They look like human marshmallows. So
yeah, now we sound old. Favorite commercial? What was your favorite commercial at the halftime show?
Well, my favorite commercial was the Google Pixel commercial about how you could edit the photos, you could unblur them. And I started thinking, I was like, well, you could delete from photos. Can you add to photos? For instance, like if you're at the beach, AJ, and you're not wearing a hat, would I be able to add hair that looks realistic to your head? I don't know. Also, the problem with the Google Pixel phone, is that if you're in a group message, you're going to be that one person that causes
you'll be that one
all the
person
messages to be green.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, and
you do not want
you
that.
become an
So,
outcast right away. No one wants to
For-
be that friend.
For sure. I know people that have been peer pressured into getting an iPhone just because
I've done it.
because they felt the shame.
I've done it I've actually started a new trend too. I go caseless, no case.
You go caseless.
Oh,
I've
been going caseless for I don't know, 4 months now.
And you haven't dropped it yet?
Oh, I've dropped it plenty, but it's still fine. You know, when I went to Apple to buy something, the guy saw the phone. He said, "Oh, no case." I said, "No, I have Apple Care. You know, if I break the phone, I'll just pay for the Apple Care because the cases are like an addiction. You get one case, get another case, you get another case, right?
No.
But, you know, well, for me it was. For a lot of people, I think it was. But I've started a whole new trend now. I've got several people going caseless.
Well, I've done that, and I've completely destroyed 2 phones. What was your favorite commercial or your least favorite commercial?
Favorite commercial was I don't know how to say it, the Tubby commercial, the free online TV show, because it looked like they came back from a commercial break. I don't know if you remember it. It looked like they came back from the commercial break. And then it looked like Apple TV or something started popping up, Netflix. And people, I was reading online, people started reaching for the remote. People were yelling at, get off the remote, And so to me, that was just genius because it really made you pay attention. I don't know that I had a least favorite commercial.
Yeah, they're usually, you know what? I feel like over time, the commercials have gotten progressively worse. I feel like back in the day, they had better content. They had better humor, and nowadays they kind of suck. And they pay these people all this money to make these commercials, and they're just terrible. I feel like we could do it.
I could have done a better commercial. In fact, we actually have a pretty good commercial later on in the show here. So this weekend, I had some exchanges to do. Let's use the right terminology here. I don't know if anyone else has experienced this lately. I want to know, for those watching this, listening, if you want to email us, DM us, what is the difference between an exchange and a return? Right? So I had clothes I bought. There's 2 big box stores this happened to me. I had clothes that I bought, wrong size. So I bring it to the store. Hi, I'd like to make an exchange. So as the girl's doing the thing, I had to ask. I said, well, it's going to be the same price, right? She looked at me and was like, no. Like, what are you talking about? I'm making an exchange. This is a medium. I need it in a small or whatever, right? It's like,
you would think less material would be cheaper.
Yeah, right. I should be getting money back. But what I've realized is these big box stores are making you return this stuff and do a new purchase. They made me feel like they were doing me a favor, at the second store. She said, "Oh, I'll let me see if I could price match it." No, you're gonna price match it because I'm exchanging the same item just for a different size.
Right. It's almost like it's just credit, like getting the credit to the store. It's the same product. So did you end up having to pay extra money or no? Or how did it work?
So at one of the stores, everything was all well and good. The second store, she said she price matched for me, and I said, okay, great. I got the refund on my credit card the other day, and then I got I saw the new transaction. It was $50 more. And I was like, I just don't have time to deal with it. But isn't that what an exchange is?
Where was this? Abercrombie and Fitch? Where were you shopping?
No, Macy's. Macy's and Nordstrom.
That's bizarre.
Is that crazy? I spoke to someone that used to work in retail, and they said, no, they actually had like a button on the thing to make the exchange. I don't know. It was ridiculous.
Wow. You always have tough experiences. There's been times in the past where AJ didn't tip a waiter and the guy chased him out of a restaurant. He always has these weird
I did tip him. I no longer tip in cash because of that experience. Do you know that? I will only use a card.
Embarrassed.
I tipped the guy, though.
There,
he pocketed the money and then tried to pretend that he did. I've told this story to so many people, and they can't believe he followed us out to our car and then said something. And then when I tried to tip him again, he wouldn't take the money.
Wouldn't take the money. Yeah. All I know is it had nothing to do with me because I was just there for a free meal. And then I left and AJ dropped me off. So it was perfect. I didn't have to do anything.
That's really the only time I get to see George in person is if there's a free meal.
Oh, yeah. That's about it. AJ's paying me big bucks to spend 30 minutes a week doing this show for this audience.
But no, the whole store thing was ridiculous. I mean, it just doesn't.
So would you go back now? Would you go back to Macy's? I guess you're forced to go back to Macy's because it's a department store and
well, you have no choice. Where else are you going to get clothes?
You can go to Brooks Brothers. You can go to.
Well, there's these random websites out there. I get ads all the time. I know people that have shopped on them, but the clothes are dirt cheap. Takes forever. Talk about a nightmare making an exchange or a return. What's the point? You have no choice but to, Amazon Basics should come up with their own brand, their own clothing line.
So did somebody give you this as a gift? Did they think you were bigger than you actually were? Or what?
No, it was me. Sure. I ordered the wrong size. I've been ordering stuff online because the stores never have what I want. And so it just made sense to order the stuff online.
Yeah. But you didn't know did you lose weight or something over the past couple of weeks or going from a medium to a small or what happened?
Every brand is different for me. Hey, I got a quick question for you before we jump to commercial break. I meant to bring it up last week.
Yeah.
What the hell is that thing on the wall next to you?
This thing right here?
Yeah.
Look at this. It's a phone. So this is a phone. So I can call my doorman and I can call my butler to come up whenever I need something. Whenever I need help with something or I need a package brought up, they call this phone right here.
Now, were you assigned a butler by the court?
I was assigned a butler. I have my own butler, my doorman. Can't tell anybody where I live because I don't want people showing up. But yeah, it's pretty sweet. So I can call them at all hours.
We'll put the address in the live stream comments here.
24/7, 365. My beautiful apartment.
All right, we're gonna hop on over to a quick commercial break. We've got some news headlines, what's happening in the world, coming up in just a couple seconds. We'll see you.
Do you have trouble just getting through the day? Does smiling feel like a 1,000-ton truck just crushed your body? Then talk to your doctor about Vexatrolucia Tethiopia. It's the magic pill that will take all your problems away without you having to do any work. So, choose Vexatrolucia Plavix Tilapia and turn that frown upside down today. Side effects may include explosive diarrhea, loss of all senses, compulsive vomiting, arm may fall off, may grow a tail, uncontrollable farting, desire to pee in public, eyes may melt out of socket, permanent foul body odor. And death.
Justine Renee on YouTube. Look her up. Thank you so much for letting us use that parody video, Justine. You could also check her out on Instagram, Justine Renee, FLA. That's Renee with 2 E's. Justine Renee, FLA on Instagram. She's also a comedian. Brilliant parody commercial there. So thank you for letting us use that, Justine.
Boy, we have some lousy commercials on this podcast. I'll tell you. Hopefully they get better in the coming weeks and months.
Actually, might have a special guest coming up in a few weeks. Someone who was a former governor of a state. We're still trying to get confirmation on that, but that could be really exciting for us. So we might be having that individual.
Democrat or Republican?
Democrat.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to keep your lips sealed.
Yeah, we'll see what's going on there. But let's get to these news headlines first. So at the Super Bowl, what was up with that grass, the turf they were playing on?
They spent 2 years growing that at like a local farm or something, and $800,000, and people were
$800,000
for grass.
Absolutely insane. They rolled it out every single day for 2 years. They did all of that for it, right? I thought they were ice skating. I thought I had
That's what it's
hockey on.
That's what it seemed like. And then everybody was slipping all over the place. And then, of course, whenever they put all those things out there for the halftime performance and Rihanna's halftime, it just made things worse in the second half. So tons of players had to change their cleats. So it was just another way that the NFL was rigging the game.
I'm not a lawn expert here by any means, nor am I in charge of any multi-billion-dollar corporations here like the NFL. But wouldn't you think there would be a backup plan?
You would think. I guess they were busy just fixing the divots as guys were slipping on them and maybe breaking up the grass. But that's the NFL for you. They probably were testing it for 2 years, and then on the big game night, it didn't work out.
Unbelievable. What do you have in the news going on?
So, sticking with the Super Bowl one last time, and this is me airing my grievances a little bit. Why do artists get so much pushback for lip syncing at the Super Bowl? I think Whitney Houston back in, I don't know if it was the 80s or 90s, when she did, apparently it was like the greatest halftime performance ever. It turns out that she was lip syncing too. So what's the big deal about Rihanna? I'll be honest. A lot of these performers, they sound terrible in person compared to the radio.
They need the auto.
I saw Justin Timberlake at Madison Square Garden several years ago, and he was terrible. I wish he was lip syncing because he was horrible.
Here's the problem, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
For me, the problem is I don't care if you're lip syncing. You're obviously going to sound better when you lip sync. But why do you at least pretend, for Christ's sake, that it's live, right? At least pretend. Rihanna had, like I said before, the microphone completely away from her, and it was like this. It was clear as day. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And also, one thing to point out, too, is people think that, and I thought it was phenomenal, Chris Stapleton's performance with the national anthem. Why do country artists, I think that country is king, but why do country artists sound so much better than call them like pop singers in person? I think country singers sound almost identical to the radio. Is it because they're not moving around as much?
No, I don't think so. I think because they're actual true singers. They don't need to lip sync. They don't need auto-tune.
Yeah. He was phenomenal. He made the Eagles coach just break down.
Yeah, wasn't that something? That was crazy.
He was sobbing.
Yeah, that was crazy. So
what?
Yeah, go.
What else you got?
I have a movie on Netflix, 2022 movie called White Noise. Ever heard of it?
I've never heard of it.
All right, White Noise is exactly what is happening in this country right now. Ohio. Train derailment, tons of chemicals on it. We nuke it pretty much. We blow it up. A few days ago, they're being told it's okay to drink the water. They only evacuated things a mile away. Now, because word is starting to spread on social media, they're having a little bit of a bigger problem on their hands. I mean, we got these UFOs, these spy balloons. We have, I love that. Oh, well, actually, there were spy balloons during the last administration, and they didn't catch it, but we caught it. Well, how did you catch it? It happened already. What is going on? What are we doing here?
It's enhanced technology. As time goes on, you enhance your technology and your radar technology, and you upgrade, and you can catch more things.
Predictive programming is what this is. This movie came out last year. It takes place in a small Ohio town with a train that got derailed. Go look it up. It's exactly what's happening now. I think it's predictive programming. Why? Because people have seen it. So now when it happens in real life, they're not going to question what's going on. This is what is happening, folks, to our country. This is what they are doing to us.
So why would they derail a train with chemicals? What purpose is
Population
that
control.
Who did that?
Population control.
Population control. Well, how many people has it severely impacted so far?
Well, about 5 million in the radius that this is affected with the water and the air now. They only evacuated people within a mile.
So in this movie that you mentioned, though, so was the goal to curb the population, or what was the end goal, and what happened? I know you don't want to like ruin the whole movie, but from what you can tell us.
You got to check it out on Netflix. I'll be honest, I haven't seen the full thing, but it's exactly what happened. It's exactly what's happening in Ohio right now. It's
So what do you
it's
think
from film to real life.
What do you think the UFOs are? I reached out to a friend that works at Dodd, but I got a no comment. He wouldn't tell me exactly
You
what's
got a
going
no comment.
So what do you think it is? You know, one was at 60,000 feet, one's at 20,000 feet, where that becomes a huge issue.
We shot some of these things down. It's 2023. These fighter jets have cameras on them. They shot these things down. They're saying they don't know what they are. Well, let us decide. Let the public decide, since the elected officials can't decide. Show us the footage. Show us the pictures.
Do you think that they could potentially be extraterrestrial life, or you don't believe in that?
Not one single bit.
Really? So you think it's like a surveillance?
No, I think it's nothing. It's nothing. It's a distraction from the truth. It's a distraction from what's going on.
Well, the balloons also were shot down over terrible terrain, right? In like northern Alaska, where you can't.
Evidently, it just came out yesterday or today. They were tracking it since it left China. They knew it was coming. It crossed the entire country, and then we shoot it down.
Who reported that? Who's saying that?
It's all. I'm telling you, it's all over. I'm telling you, it's not some crazy outlet. It's all over the place.
So are you making a claim here now that you think that, and I haven't looked at this Ohio story at all, but are you saying that would you expect more of these isolated, or maybe not so isolated incidents, in your opinion? You know, do you see more of these that are going to continue in the future? Like, you wouldn't be shocked by these random incidents that occur around the country?
What did we just go through? We went through a pandemic, right? We went through a pandemic. We went through. Yeah. Now they're saying at the World Economic Forum, you have Klaus Schwab saying this year there will be a cyber attack. They're putting it out there in plain sight.
On who?
On us. On the world. You know, power grids are going to go down. You know, banking institutions are going to go down. Be prepared.
Keep your money under your pillow, AJ, at all times.
I'm gonna get one and put it under my pillow. It'll actually help with the comfort. Those things suck. They really do.
Did you throw it out? Or no? Do you still have it somewhere?
I don't know where it is, to be honest with you. I think I tried to donate it. They didn't even want it. But real quick.
All right, I have one more story.
Hold on, real quick. With the shooting of everything down, they missed one of the objects. $400,000 missile, and they missed. You have one job, and they missed one of the objects the other day. They had to do it again. Twice. 2 missiles, $800,000.
How did they miss? But you don't mind, AJ. It just comes out of your federal taxes, right?
Yeah. No big deal. No big deal. What you got for us?
So my last story for this week, and I'm a big entertainment guru.
Yeah, you love your entertainment news.
I love my entertainment news. It makes you happy, and you forget about everything else. And also, people say I look like Matt Damon, so why not? Post Malone. He was in Australia. You know who Post Malone is, AJ?
I sure
Listen to
do.
any of his music?
I don't listen to his music, but I know
he's a good
who he is.
artist. Yeah. He, well, you probably know if you've seen him that he has tons of tattoos, and he was at a bar in Australia and they turned him away because of the tattoos on his face. Now, if you were eating or drinking at that bar, besides the fact that he is Post Malone, you know, would you feel comfortable seeing somebody with tattoos like that
Yeah, what difference does it make?
inside a restaurant or a bar? I
What-
agree with you. I don't see what the big deal is. It's just him expressing himself, and who cares? But the bigger question is, would you ever get a tattoo?
Probably not. Probably. Maybe, you know what?
Definitely
I think
not.
I might. I'd get the AOG Podcast tattoo.
How many average listeners would we have to have, and you would go get the tattoo on your back? Just the logo, real tiny on your back.
We're talking average listeners. So this is over
Yeah,
a
average
period of
listeners
time.
on a weekly. Yeah, so say like for 2 months, we have this amount of average listeners on every Wednesday night. How many?
Hundreds.
Well, you have to give us a number. The audience
Hundreds.
is going to want to know. This is all recorded. What is hundreds? 500, 600, 1,500?
Let me get back to you on that one. Real quick.
He doesn't want to commit to it. See,
No, I'm not going to commit to it. No. No.
And go on. Do we have an audience comment or what?
No, one last story here. John Fetterman, Pennsylvania. The guy, I'm sorry. I feel awful for him. He was slurring the other day, couldn't get through one of his speeches like usual. Doesn't even know where he is. He was hospitalized the other day, and there was a big vote on the Senate floor. They did everything in their power to get him out so quick that he could vote. Who's running the show there? It's not John. I think his wife is a pretty strong influence there, and she's the one kind of running the show here.
Was she in politics before?
You know, I don't know. I know, she's pulling him around, pushing him around. You know, she's whispering to him a lot. She's made a lot of statements on his behalf when he was campaigning. I don't know. Something's not right there.
Yeah, but you had Dr. Oz run against him, and Dr. Oz, I don't even think really lived in Pennsylvania. I think he just bought a house just so he could run.
Well, so did Hillary to become, in New York, right? She wasn't from New York.
That's right. I'm sure a bunch of politicians do.
Oh, of course. Well, hey, listen, there's the loopholes, right? And so why not take advantage of them? But with Fetterman, I just feel bad for the guy. I really do. But
yeah,
when he got to that hospital, you think Dr. Oz was there waiting in the emergency room? Was that the first thing he saw when he went into the hospital?
How does he actually? I feel terrible for him for what's happened. But how does he, present legislation?
How
on
does
the
he
Senate
govern?
Floor? It's got to be difficult.
What was the one thing he said that one day? The Eagles are better than the Eagles. What are you talking about? Nonsense.
He's saying that, and the Empire State Building is lit up in green.
Oh my God! Yeah, I bet Fetterman did that. That was all John Fetterman's fault. Well,
that was terrible.
Listen, they could keep him over in Pennsylvania.
That was
not that the people over here in New York are any better. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Yes.
Yeah, we love our pending audience. We love you guys.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching the AOG Podcast. Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, live streamed. Also going to be on YouTube and all over Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok afterwards. And we'll see you next week.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
We'll see you guys. Thanks for watching.